Yeah.
Speaking of civil war right now, this is breaking news right out of Minneapolis. Not only has the cop station there now set ablaze, it's on fire now, but the National Guard is deploying 500 soldiers to Minneapolis right now.
That's a good segue. Let's dig into that one.
Yeah, let's watch a city burn live on Real News Quarantined.
Well,
So if nobody's familiar yet, well,
would it be inappropriate if I started playing Burning Down the House for this?
well, what's funny is
Let's
actually.
get some Bloodhound gangs on fire.
Yeah.
It's funny. Somebody took the ending to Joker when he is in the cop car and he's seeing the city burn, and they cut out the parts in the movie of the city burning and put Minneapolis in there, and it's scary, accurate, and hard to tell the difference. But ever since George Floyd was killed by a police officer, I mean, we'll dive into whether what we think of that right now, but. The whole city is just ablaze. Like last night it was apocalyptic. People with masks on, the city ablaze, and they woke up and there was all this ash everywhere. It was just apocalyptic. It was destruction like I'd never quite seen from these riots before, and there's been pretty bad ones in Ferguson and all these other, incidents.
The Baltimore riots were pretty bad. When you again look at those, that's what this reminds me
Baltimore
of.
was pretty bad, yeah.
Yeah,
And
Baltimore was pretty bad.
the thing to note about this one, if you have been following Cernovich and other sort of alt media people, and they did mention this on Fox a little bit tonight, but it's not just Black Lives Matter, it's not just rioters, your typical looters, whatever. Antifa has been all over this. They have come from the outside. Many of them might even already have been in the city. I'm not sure, but they've got a lot of Antifa at this one. This one's a little different in that sense. That it's pretty bad. I mean, we all saw the footage of the Target getting looted. I'll pull it up soon. All this really crazy shit. What do you guys think of George Floyd, though? Do you think he was murdered? What do you think happened?
Yeah, I don't see a reason why you need to do that to someone. But yeah, that's pretty fucked.
I mean, it was cold. Look, I'm gonna say look, I'm not gonna say that we have a chance with this particular issue. We really do have a chance to come together and say, okay, this wasn't just and I don't like saying that this is a black man from a white cop or whatever, because that's racist. Like you're telling me that one life should give preference over another because of the color of their skin. Like, no, that's racist. Let's look at it and see it what it is. It is an American who had his civil rights violated by a police officer who had a track record of doing it and lost his life as a result, right? We could come together right now and we could make that, and that would be enough to just demand change, demand action, demand all this stuff. But we're letting all of this other bullshit get in the way of that particular point.
I mean, if you look at the lockdowns and everything that's happened in the authoritarian state and that we've all been living and that we've all been experiencing, I mean, we've all lost our rights over the last few months here. We've all experienced this. Yeah. Our friends have lost their job. Our friends, our families, everyone has been suffering. I mean, the number of suicides that have taken place, across the country as a result of this. I mean, it's like 1 in 3 millennials and Gen Z are now unemployed. The unemployment numbers are astronomical. We've never seen anything like this. This even surpasses the Great So we've been experiencing this for months on end, and this was the tipping point. This was the final thing that just that. For a lot of people, this was just it. All that pent up anger, all that rage, all that suffering is just coming out into the streets of Minneapolis.
Yeah. And I'll say this too, my other point. I'll just give this one other point. Look, for all the African Americans that may end up watching this video or listening to this video, and you vote Democrat, let me tell you something. You're betting on the wrong fucking horse, okay? And why? Well, look at all these riots that are going on, right? You look at all these riots going on, and all these riots are happening in Democratic strongholds. You look at Minneapolis, right? I was just looking at this one site that had a political breakdown of the entire city of Minneapolis. It's like the governor is Democrat, the mayor is a Democrat, the senators are Democrats, the
A
chief of
possible
police,
VP
like,
candidate
right,
is let the cop
yeah,
off and allow him to
Yeah.
do his
right,
job and didn't
right.
prosecute him.
Yeah,
You have all
Klobuchar's
these
done now.
Democrats, right? And then it's like you're just gonna let these protesters burn down the fucking city, right? You're just gonna let them like this thing happened. As soon as this tragedy happened, someone should have been like, "Hey, this is probably not gonna end well. We might let the National Guard know about this and tell them,
Well,
hey,
why
you
didn't
might
they
want to get
arrest the cops? Like,
well, yeah, no,
why not
and this
arrest
is,
them?
I think part of this is political play. I just think part of this is political play because and then you got that that's a good point. That's also a good point, Trent, because you have, like I said before,
If I
this
murder
was a
someone in
cop.
the streets on video, the cops are going to come and arrest me. That's
Right.
what happens. So
Right.
we all have seen the video of a man. It sounds like we all agree the guy was murdered by this
Right.
this group of police officers, and so that's what happens when you murder someone. You get arrested, and then you go to court, and then so in this situation, they shouldn't have just been fired. They should have been arrested.
Mm.
Not only arrested, they should have been arrested for their own protection. Because where are these cops now? What's going to happen to them now? Like, they were protesting at this cop's house, protecting it. Like, I think there were rumors, at least, that one of the cops has disappeared, or no one can find him, or they're in protection, or whatever. Now you've got the FBI involved, and it's like, had they just arrested the cops, like, they possibly could have avoided. There probably still would have been riots, honestly, because again, I think this was a tipping point, but there might have been hopefully a less violent reaction. And at least felt like the system was doing. The system just literally did nothing when it was so painfully obvious what happened.
Yeah, and like you got like you have this guy, and I'm talking about the guy that had his knee on the neck that really did him in. This guy, this wasn't his first rodeo. This guy had a history of behavior, right?
Is this his second or third murder or death?
Yeah, it's something like
Jesus.
I was looking at a list. There was a list on Twitter that I saw, and it was like 4 or 5 other sketchy situations that he was in, right? And so this is the easy track record of just like civil rights fucking and
violations.
And through this, you look at this whole Democratic rule, right? There are Democrats up and down the Minneapolis chain of command, and they all were like, "Hey, this cop must be good. Whatever. Why the fuck not?" Right? It's like, what do you expect? What did you expect was going to happen? Right? It's like all of this happened during, and even if you want to give them the benefit of the doubt, it's like, well, you didn't give them the benefit. You don't give these other people the benefit of the doubt if this shit happens. And actually, honestly, I don't really recall any of this shit happening in Republican strongholds. Usually when the shit burns down, it's in Democrat heavy areas. Like,
well, it's also because Democrats always are in charge of cities too, and people that live in cities are left wing.
Not always, but definitely
there's some right-end cities.
Yeah,
but
the major cities is what I'm talking about.
It's always
there's Lansing really a major city.
Lansing?
There's always a feel like they want it to happen. There's just always this feel like they want it to happen, because there's always, like with Baltimore and with Minneapolis and Ferguson and all these places, they just let it get way too fucking crazy. Like,
well, that's
way overboard. And it's like, And it's like, you already know, like any person with a fucking brain cell is already going to be like, look, if this shit happens, like, you know that protests are going to be bad. So you might want to get ready.
Well, where were the cops all last night? They seem to be like non-existent. When people looted that Target, they were in there for 3 hours.
I think they were told to step down.
Yeah, but
why?
That's the Democratic playbook. You just step down when there's a protest and let it burn out.
Yeah,
that's their strategy. It's the most
bizarre what's their logic behind that?
I've witnessed it in Berkeley and San Francisco multiple times.
Yeah.
I mean, basically, if you ask most police officers, they're going to tell you that this isn't what I signed up for. That I took an oath to protect, and when I'm told to stand down when people are committing crimes in front of me and other people, like they feel like they're not following through on their oath, and arguably they aren't. But if they try to enforce the law, they will face repercussions from the police chief and the mayor or whatever. So there is a some argument in some situation. Okay, we don't want to escalate, which is there is an argument to be, but unfortunately what ends up happening is you kind of empower the protesters because now they know they have a level of power that the police aren't coming.
Yeah, so, they know they can get away with it. It's anarchy. It's lawlessness.
You got to get the state troopers and the fucking National Guard on speed dial. Like when you see some shit like this happen, like, dude, you guys are in charge of the city. This has happened. Like, this is going to burn you. Like, if you're a mayor and this is your city and you're already getting hit with some coronavirus shit, and now all of a sudden all the Target and all this shit is burning to the fucking ground, it's fucking you over even further. Like,
it's not like this has never happened before. Like, this has happened for
that's
decades.
Look at the pages of history. This shit has happened before. It's going to happen again when you look at what's going on. Like, dude, you have the playbook. Fucking
this hasn't, this obviously has happened before. I mean, so like what happened during the Rodney King riots, so in San Francisco, they said, all right, cool. If you want to go protest, go protest. And they basically surrounded Golden Gate Park with cops, and they put all the protesters where they couldn't burn, and they had them surrounded, and they couldn't leave, and they couldn't do anything. So like, they know what to do. Like, that's the smart thing to do. Like, give them an area to protest where they can burn out and they can't burn down the city, literally.
Yeah.
LA, of course, lost control, and their police stood down. And so the biggest thing that happened, and a lot of things that happened in LA, and the way they mismanaged it, just like Minneapolis is mismanaging it, is when the police stand down, what happens, it becomes a situation, especially looting, especially when you're in a situation where you're in the middle of a pandemic, then it becomes a competition. Oh, I want to steal that car. Oh, I want to break into. So then what happens is you start having conflict between the store owners who are defending their businesses, people who own property, and now they're having to defend themselves against the protesters and the rioters, and the police aren't coming. So that's what happened in LA. That's what's happening in Minneapolis. The police just stand down in those situations. It basically empowers the rioters to just continue to riot and take it to that next. No one's coming. So, if there's one thing that we kind of experienced over the last few months, and I've known this for a very long time because I've been around long enough, but there's this like kind of irrational belief that a lot of people have that, if something horrible happens, the good guys are going to show up and they're going to ride in on helicopters and come save my town. And, the good doctors are going to come save us if there's a pandemic and we're sick. And, there's this idea that Hollywood has like planted in everyone's head that, someone's going to come and save me. And the reality is no one's coming. This pandemic, I think, has really proven that no one's coming to save you. You're kind of on your own. Like the doctors won't even give you medications that we know work against the virus because it's been politicized. So like, we're in a situation right now where that's ultimately proving true in the streets of Minneapolis. And it's a damn shame because, the ruling class kind of brought this shit on themselves with the way they've been behaving. You can't lock the American people up like animals for months on end and then abuse us with the police force, from everything that everyone's been through. Being told you can't go to the park, you can't take your boat out, you can't do this, you can't go to the beach, you can't do that. Like, at some point, there's going to, a lot of the plans that have been implemented from this whole pandemic, this was planned. They have an agenda. They've been planning this decades. There is a Rockefeller playbook that I was reading like 10 years ago, where the Rockefellers, trying to plan for the next big pandemic, and they were trying to figure out what they're going to do, how they're going to react, like how they're going to initiate lockdowns and all this stuff. They've been planning this stuff for decades. This whole thing was planned, just like we talked about with Trump's executive order. He didn't write this in 2 days. That's been sitting in his shelf for a year. They have these plans that they've already, and then they execute them. So all these governors were handed playbooks that were written to plan this years ago. So they know what to do for a riot. Like, there's a playbook for that. And the playbook they're using right now is, and it's pretty messed up.
Yeah.
Well, the thing too
I just don't think that the Democrats. I just don't think why would you let a Democrat run your fucking city after this shit? Because you know that most of these fucking protesters aren't even from Minneapolis. They're from all over the damn place. You're letting these fucking outsiders come in, steal your shit, burn your shit, and then fucking leave and put all your constituents in danger. Like, how do you get reelected? Like, I just that to me, that fucking baffles me.
It's cognitive dissonance, because the politicians go on the news and be like, we're condemning these acts and we're going to do this, that, and the other. It gives these people this like false sense of hope, this false sense of control. Like, that is part of the Democratic playbook, is to give people a false sense of hope. That is like one of the things they predicate on. Like, they, don't worry, we've got this, kind of mentality. Like, we're gonna implement hope and change, like, all that kind of bullshit. Like, that is situations, and they're able to manipulate people emotionally because they know they're emotionally vulnerable in these moments, and they use propaganda, information, and they use the power of the media to change the narrative and reshift the conversation. That's how they do it. So again, it kind of comes back to the executive order that we were talking about earlier. This is why we need to have a free, why we need free speech, so that we can all actually talk about reality as reality, without having CNN and these corporations, the Democrats, or anyone from the ruling class interjecting and having a artificial virtual soapbox. We should all have. The internet was designed so that we all had equal footing, and that was the purpose, that was the intention of it, that was the whole point. And what's happened is, all these corporations, all these politicians have figured out ways to use algorithms and figure out how to use software to basically create these virtual soapboxes for themselves to stand on in these situations, so that they can control and manipulate them. And we need to end that. That needs to end, so that we can have normal communications with each other, so that we can have conversations again, and we're not stuck in these echo chambers. Even the design of these applications, how they function, have conversations with each other on Facebook. These apps are literally get into arguments with people. They want you to get into an argument with your neighbor. They don't want you coming to like peaceful resolution. They don't want you to see the other side. They just want you to have that heated argument. They've done the psychological research on it. They know what they're doing. They buried it, and they just pretend that all of this is okay. But at the end, it's unfortunately social media, all the propaganda, and all of these things, and then of course the authoritarian lockdowns and everything they've done because of this whole situation. Like, of course people were going to burst. Of course there was going to be a blowback. Like, you can't just keep forcing a pendulum to one side. Like, eventually it has to go back to the other side, and you're going to get a reaction. So what we're seeing in Minneapolis is that And it's a combination of all of
Mm-hmm.
these things, because we've even lost the ability just to go on the internet and talk to our friends like the way we want, without being interfered with, without being attacked, without risking losing, without being socially ostracized just because we want to talk to people. Like that, like we live in some really kind of screwed up times. This is totally our.
And the thing I've taken away from the Minneapolis thing, I actually just watched, and I played it here for everyone with it muted, the full original 10-minute video posted by a young woman on Facebook of the death of George Floyd. And what's really fucked up, honestly, is the fact that the cop has him down on the ground. He has his knee on his neck, as we've all seen. He did that, at least what's shown in the video, for 4 minutes till the person's body went lifeless.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to have him pinned down on the ground,
His knee there.
It was absolutely not police protocol.
Absolutely
not police protocol.
No way.
If you wanted him pinned down, you could have put your knee on his back, which is already like not really probably protocol, but like the place he put it, and then even after his body went limp, he had it on there for another 4 minutes till they put it in the ambulance. I'm like, it is some spooky shit. Like I don't know what's going through the guy's head.
It's just bad. I mean, it was just like, I don't know if it was. It looked. At first, I was thinking that this was just like a lazy cop, or just somebody trying to like just do whatever to get. But the more I looked at it, the more
the worse it gets.
Like it looked like it was actually driven, like it was self-driven. Like I was like, because I'm always like, whenever I see some video on that or whatever, my first reaction is like, oh, maybe he's lazy or overworked or something like that. But in this particular case, it was like,
he was enjoying it.
Apparently,
it looked like it was purposeful, and then almost like a sick enjoyment or something.
Well, we're gonna need more information on this, but
that also sociopath.
Well,
there's no doubt about it. Like that.
Yeah.
That is what a sociopath looks like when they're murdered.
I always feel like now, I always have to use the disclaimer. Look, let the investigation happen, let due process happen. Even if we think or have a good idea that they're guilty, you always make sure that due process happens. But in my opinion, if a cop does this and is found guilty, I think they should get the death penalty, just because like, look, you're given, like, these cops are given, they're given authority, they're given privileges that go along with that authority to protect, serve, and protect the people, and so you really shouldn't give somebody that kind of authority without holding them having the opposite accountability that matches it, so, like, look, you look at the cop, he kills someone, you have to be held to a higher standard than a normal human being, because you've been
him.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, definitely. Oh, definitely need to arrest him. Like, definitely. That is right out of the gate. I don't think anybody's going to fight you on that one, but I mean, I think if he's found guilty, I'm always, of course, I always think that, the death penalty isn't used enough in this country, but and especially when you're talking about a police officer that is given that kind of authority, and he should have that kind of authority to be able to handle, like, to be able to complete his job. But if you abuse that authority, you should be held to a higher standard and accountability,
And the thing too is, when you do see like all these videos and the reaction to it, I mean, it's, like I said, it is not apocalyptic, but we were talking about a few shows later, which is kind of eerie, or before this, which is really eerie, is that you guys were kind of arguing, Phil and Alex, that during these very sort of restrictive times where we're all kind of locked down, we're all getting a little crazy, that if another one of these Black Lives Matter incidents happens, there could be a civil war. I still don't think there's going to be a civil war, with this shit, but I do think because of the sort of, I don't have any better word than like a little craziness we've all kind of developed, but like we kind of need to let it out. And I think, unfortunately, some people are doing it in a pretty disgusting way. And there's also just outside Antifa and Black Lives Matter just coming in, taking advantage of the situation. But I think some people were looking for something to protest,
I mean, I'm sure there's a little bit of that too.
Yeah, and I think there's a little.
Well, they were planning for, protests and riots to happen, even in the planning for these pandemics. I mean,
Yeah.
They've held these events. The ruling class has been preparing for a pandemic. They knew that there was a possibility this could happen. So they have a playbook for what to do in the event of, protests and riots. And ultimately, the fact of the matter is, like, people protested the lockdowns and they did so peacefully, and they weren't taking it to the next level.
Yeah, it's great.
So, there is a, for the most part, all of the protests that I've seen up until this point were completely, and they were just, fighting for their rights.
Yeah.
Now we're in a totally new territory, and now this is for totally different reasons. And, there's so many different variables that we could, but like ultimately the core of the issue is like, now that this has happened, now, there's going to be this visceral response. I mean, this is just kind of forced everyone into reality, because we've all been kind of stuck. This whole pandemic changed so much for so many people, especially for the people that led lives of, privilege, that could hop on planes and travel and ate out at fancy restaurants and went to concerts all the time. Like, arguably, I'm one of them. We've had access to, we've been living in peaceful times. We've had access to be able to do all of these crazy, amazing things. And all of that's been taken away from us. And at this point, we're not even sure when we're going to get it back in many places. I mean, even the city of San Francisco today, like, they announced their 4, phase plan, and phase 4 is to be determined. The state of California's lockdown is to be determined. Like, we don't even have a date that we can point to and go, okay, things are going to shift, at this point, and, things are going to kind of get back to normal, or try to find something that, resembles a functioning, but they're not even giving us. So of course something bad was going to happen. Some tipping point was going to take place, and unfortunately it had to be the death. And this whole situation, I mean, who's to say, this, there's an element of this where even we're also probably escalated to some point because of everything that's, all the police around the country have been told to basically start violating people's rights. And, at some point, one cop was going to take it too far. Like, and clearly this police officer, as I stated, this is what we witnessed was a sociopath abusing and treating another human being less than human. And there's, in the case of everything that we've all had to deal with over the last several months, like, it was just the visual representation, it was just witnessing in a single moment what we've all kind of been feeling. We've all kind of felt like we've had that, that knee on our neck for the last several months to some degree. And to see it, and to see that reality, I mean, this is a lot for people. People are going to break down because of this. The rule of law, the idea that the police are there to protect the people, like, that idea is being challenged at this moment, everyone. And, unfortunately, with everything else that we've witnessed, with all of the political discourse, and as bad as it's gotten, and unfortunately, this is going to potentially lead to, a much worse situation. Unfortunately, I think this is just the beginning. I think as we get closer and closer to the election, as more and more propaganda and misinformation gets spread out there, as things just become more and more chaotic, I mean, as the reality sets in, of the people that are unemployed who can't find jobs, basically are about to starve or get kicked out onto the street. We're looking at possibly a whole new generation of homeless people.
Mhm.
We're looking at a whole new generation of, and unless something radical comes in to change, to actually put things in motion, the events that needed to take place to pull the United States depression, I mean, it took a decade. You can't just undo what's already been done and
Yeah.
expect us to just flip a switch and go back to the way things. Like, it's going to take time to repair all of this. So for a lot of people, they're going to lose hope, and they're going to continue to, they're going to continue to take their anger out at the system, and they're going to continue to take their anger out at the ruling class, and they're going to blame the left, they're going to blame the right, they're going to blame, just the system overall. And unfortunately, that could lead to a civil war. It could, a revolution of some kind.
Well, what I think is going to happen actually is I think these protests could spread to other cities if they haven't already. I mean,
they will.
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
very likely.
Planning one in Oakland, I think tomorrow or tonight even.
And there's like, I mean, they're seeing the craziest shit. Like this one last night, this guy had a fucking chainsaw he brought out in the protest, which looks kind of funny, but it's still kind of frightening. And the thing is, like, when we're in this pandemic, when we see people, just when this shit went down in the beginning, fighting over toilet paper in the grocery stores, you're now seeing the. Like, I mean, that's nothing. Now you're seeing the true ugliness of people fighting over TVs and food and clothing and all this shit in Target, and coming in with shopping carts and just looting a Target, filling their shopping carts up with everything and stealing it. I mean, it's sort of when you force people in this pandemic mindset, which is really a survivalist, like every man and woman for him or herself mindset. This is what you get. You get this selfishness, this sort of like animal instinct that's coming out in us, and it's ugly. It's like the worst thing that happened at the worst time, and I just think you're gonna see like a lot of unrest, and this particular thing might go for a few weeks or so. But I think like what you're saying is more important, which is the mass unemployment. How are we gonna get back from that? Because look, I'm Gen Z. I just graduated college. I technically just graduated a couple weeks ago, and let me tell you, the job market. I've been searching
you have
through
no
it.
prospects.
Yeah.
None.
It's just terrible because I've been looking on everything, and entry level is just gone. Every internship is gone, and the ones that are there, and there are some. Don't get me wrong, but the requirements are jacked through the roof because I have no experience. I have nothing except with the clubs and shit I've done and side shit. But they're like, oh, you need 3 to 5 years of experience in the advertising world. And I'm like, I'm a college graduate. I have barely 3 to 5 years in college, okay? It's just, it is really going to be rough. Like,
it's going to be very, very rough.
I mean, a lot of that.
Through this in 2008.
I mean, a lot of that. I think a lot of that is to, they use some of these wild, job resume, like these wild job postings, so they could, as an excuse to grab cheap international labor. But like, because like, who the fuck is gonna have like coming out of college? Who the fuck is gonna have 3 to 5 years experience on anything?
Yeah.
Like, it's like, oh, well, you don't meet our standards, so now we got to hire somebody from India that's going to do it for 30 cents on the dollar or whatever. And like,
unfortunately, this is like, okay, so like the best example I have is like 4th or 5th grade. They told me that when I got to cursive, and so we had to learn how to write. Like, no one writes in cursive. Like, no one uses it. I get to 6th grade after, a year or two of learning to write in cursive. And my teacher's like, don't write in cursive. Like, write in print. I need to be able to read what you're writing. And it was just another lie. And then in 8th grade, they tell you need to know this to go to college or to high school. And then in high school, they tell you, you need to know all of this to go to college. And then you get to college and they tell you, you need to know all of this to get a job. And then they say, oh, if you want a promotion, you have to do all of this to get a promotion. And then they say, oh, if you want a better job, you got to have X amount of experience. I can tell you, I've been there. I've done it. I've got the experience in the tech industry since I was 13 years old. I've got 20 years of experience. And for the most part, most job interviews, most of the people that I've talked to, even with 20 years of experience, didn't care about 20 years of experience. It's ultimately finding a situation where you find someone you can work with that's willing to work with you, that's willing to pay you a reasonable wage. And that's the best you can ultimately, and hope that over time you can inch your way up. It's a completely screwed up system. Like, it is nothing like what we're told. It's nothing like what your teachers told you it should. The reality of it is dog eat dog world. It's who you know, not what you know. Yep. And at the end, it really doesn't have too much to do even with your experience. The whole experience thing is just like, it's a filter for them to just say, I don't want. It's a soft no. It's just another way that they're filtering it. It's part of this whole system that they've created, that they categorize people. They treat us humans. They treat us like numbers. They treat us something. This guy doesn't fit this profile, or he said a naughty word 3 years ago, or this person did this or they did that. It's part of this whole authoritarian system that we're all subjected to, and it doesn't matter. Like I said earlier, like, it doesn't matter where you fall. Like, if you're not in the ruling class, like, you're with everyone else and you're subjected to the system, and the system is, and no matter how much experience you have, no matter how much money you have, no matter how much, you are still faced with having to go up against the system. I mean, Trump is probably the perfect example of that, actually. That even the president of the United States can't fully wrangle this system to be able to do something as simple as, give us our free speech rights back. He has to go through this crazy process and, do an exam, and maybe so that we can have a lawsuit that maybe gets us our rights back, years from now. It's just the nature of this, again, this authoritarian system and unfortunately the corporations, the workforce, how that whole system works. It's basically, to some degree, it's, a system of enslavement. Like, there's so few opportunities to work for people that actually treat you like and I've been very lucky to be able to find myself in situations, some amazing employers, but I know how, and unfortunately, I don't think Gen Z is going to get to experience very. I've been fearing for what's going to happen to very long, and now after this, this is going to be brutal, because I went, having to, I lost several jobs. I've now been, been laid off now 3. In the course of I was laid off twice in the 2008 market crash. I lost one position, at the beginning of this pandemic. It's brutal, because you don't lose your job. In this situation, you either lose your job for something you can't control, or you never even get the opportunity to get a job. And the standards that they're going to have for jobs are going to be completely ridiculous.
Yeah.
How can anyone get experience right now when there's no opportunity? So I don't know. My heart, everyone in Gen Z right now who's going through this, and all the other millennials that they're also facing unemployment, and they also don't know where they're next. So there's going to be a major generational problem here, and something's. I mean, in the past, they had to implement, work programs from the government. They'd pay people to clean their streets and start building roads and bridges. I mean, that's where our freeway system came from. Post Great Depression, post World, people needed jobs, and they're like, all right, let's invest in infrastructure and let's get. Yeah. And that was, one of the things was they built the freeway. and they upgraded the country's infrastructure, and that gave us a foundation to build in for the next 50, 60, 70 years. So something like that is going to have to, but man, I don't even know if it's going to be in tech. You know, we've seen what's happened with the tech.
But we're seeing it, and we're seeing this, like, dude, and this is another one of these things where I'm like, Trump may be, there may never be another Trump again, like, and where they're resistant, like, these people are resisting at all costs. Like, Democrats are resisting everything he's doing, and even you got a lot of these establishment Republicans that are like, well, fuck this guy, and like, because he's trying, like, he's
not as much though, not anymore.
But we're gonna lose 2 generations if they continue this.
With the Republicans, it's been a slow grind. It hasn't been peaches and cream when he first got there. It's been a slow grind with the fucking Republicans. They're realizing that, oh, this guy actually knows what the fuck he's talking about. So, okay, we'll give him onesie twosies. And then some of these other assholes have been voted out, and they're finally being replaced with some sort of semi-competent people. But it's like, look, you're trying to pay. He's been trying to push an infrastructure bill for fucking years.
Yeah.
He's been that should be a bipartisan issue. Like, everybody wants this infrastructure because that's how economies grow. The infrastructure is like Trent was saying, is the foundation of a strong economy. And like, they're fighting him even on that shit. Like,
yep.
Well,
they're fighting him on infrastructure and everything. And like I said, we're going to lose 2 generations to this. Basically everyone under the age of 40 is, for the most part, a significant portion of them are, because there's not an expect. If we do, there is a significant portion, the pinnacle for a lot of in my age group, work for all the tech companies, because that was about a fifth of our economy coming out of the 2008 market crash, was building up this huge tech industry. But then the ruling class at the top of the tech industry decided to started using it against them. So now we're in the situation where, I was reporting, like, what happened when the tech companies told all these tech workers that they no longer had to live in San Francisco. Well, I'll tell you what's happening right now. They're packing duffel bags, they're leaving their furniture behind, and they're going back home to wherever they're from, because they don't want to be here. They don't want to be here during a pandemic. Being able to work remotely and from home is treating your employees like human beings. Having to sit in an office all day in a cubicle, like, that is a form of slavery. I mean, there are some people that swear by living in their offices and they want to work with a team, and that's great. Like, if you want to choose that, cool, good for you. But it shouldn't be forced on everyone. And ultimately, now that people are being given the option to work remotely, what's happening? They're packing their bags and they're getting the hell out of these cities. So they're like, I don't want to be in a tiny little apartment paying $3,500 a month for rent in a city I can't even experience or enjoy because unfortunately, we've got a situation now where all these major cities have been leveled. They've been destroyed. Like, this pandemic has, and now that people can work remotely for these, people are just going to work remote, and that's going to be the new thing. So, it's, on the one hand, because it means that, we can leverage technology to be able to create a new economy, and there can be opportunities. But the problem is those opportunities will not exist under the current system because they won't even let us talk to each other. How can we make money if you say a naughty word and all of a sudden your YouTube channel's gone and your income stream, and you can't even sell t-shirts anymore?
What in chat wants Sam to speak, so we're gonna let Sam get something in.
Yeah, I was just about to say my audience is kind of getting irritated. Well, that's kind of one of the and by the way, folks, to those of you listening on my stream, I'm perfectly content to listen. Just because usually I'm talking for 2 or 3 hours. But anyway, yeah, the one thing I was gonna say is like both of the industries that I want to get into, because I mean I'm 25, but I'm still in college, and both kind of my industries, I'm pursuing a degree in technical communications, and you know, both of those, and that major mainly focuses on both media and technology. Those are the two fields I'm really interested in. But both of those are kind of fucked right now because you know, TV and radio are both dying, but the internet is also getting censored. On top of that, the one thing that I do legitimately fear is like I'm not that much of an extreme guy. I think you who know me would agree. And yet the one thing I worry about is, you know, an employee potentially, you know, going over, you know, my personal social media. And even though I'm not that radical of a guy, they might think that because I'm slightly right on some stuff, that I might be too radical, quote unquote, for them. And I mean, I'm sure that Sean, you face the same thing. Would that be correctish?
On what part exactly?
On being denied job offers for being conservative-ish.
Well, I suspect that's part of the reason I haven't gotten some jobs, because you Google my name, that's the first shit that comes up. I can't talk about one thing in particular just yet, but I've run into a more glaring example of this that really disappointed me. And I can talk about that later. I can't talk about it right now, unfortunately. But one thing I do want to talk about is because I mean that's just a challenge. Like just being a conservative trying to get a job is fucking insane. When you put your skin out there in the game and try to make a difference, this is how you're treated. And you know they're like Phil says, there's such thing as liberal privilege. It is real. And you know I'm trying my ass off really hard right now to get a job in anything, and it's just I can't emphasize how difficult it's becoming every day. Like you hear these people just like, oh, you can just do this, or oh, you can work remote. Like these companies aren't even, like I'm not arguing against the remote's the future because it in many ways is, but you hear these people that just like in the media, they're like, well, oh, these jobs can just go remote. Like these companies are cutting, and the remote jobs are super high standard, or they're unpaid internships. Like there's all kinds of shit that's going on with those. One thing I wanted to, yeah, sure.
The one thing I love, and I'm sure you've seen a bunch of this, is oh, just go be a. That's what people have told me, and it's like, well, freelancing isn't that much better. I mean,
freelancing's risky as hell. You don't have health care. You don't have a weekly paycheck just coming in to your bank account, monthly paycheck. Like there's no guarantee. You know, that's the thing people don't quite understand, and people are saying that probably just haven't done it. One thing I'm going to point to with the riots actually they're happening right now. Not too long ago, like half an hour ago, Trump sent out some tweets. He said, "I can't stand back and watch this happen to a great American city, Minneapolis. A total lack of leadership. Either the very weak radical left mayor Jacob Frey gets his act together and brings the city under control, or I will send the National Guard and get the job done right." This is the best part right here. These thugs, all in caps, are dishonoring the memory of George Floyd, and I won't let that happen. Just spoke to Governor Tim Walz and told him that the military is with him all the way. Here's the absolute best part. Any difficulty and we will assume control, but when the looting starts, the shooting starts. Thank you.
I love that line. Like honestly,
Fucking
I wish that this would have happened like when we had the other riots, but when Obama was in there, he wanted that. So
the looting starts, the shooting starts. Fucking contrast to Obama.
Wow.
But kind of going back to some of that other discussion we were having about the online jobs. I feel like this, I remember us talking about like earlier in the stream about the tech bias because all these people live in like California and that's mostly liberal city. I think the long run, if we end up having a more remote like marketplace for jobs, like that could actually help eliminate some of that like further down the line, like not right now. because they're only going to hire the like liberals and stuff. But I think like after maybe like 5 years, you can start having more middle America participate. Honestly, I think this is going to be the death of probably New York City and a bunch of these other places, because if you can work remote, especially like San Francisco, like why would you want to live in San Francisco and spend over half of your pay, and you're already going to be put into like a way higher tax bracket just going to keep up with cost of living, when you can go and live somewhere else and get probably close to or a lot better pay, like or the same pay.
Well, that's true,
Just
but I think one thing we should always keep in mind, though, with all this, is there is still a element of in person that you just can't replace.
Agreed.
People that have been away from loved ones know this all too well right now, and I think that's that's what's really been reflective for me in this, is just how all this social media, even like video chatting, it's all fake. You know what I mean? Like, it's not real socializing. Video chatting is the closest, but like social media is so fake. I mean, it's wonderful, it's beautiful what it can do, but the whole cliche of like, oh, we're so connected with this shit. It's like, we almost feel so unconnected right now, more than ever before, even though we have all this shit. That's just we've forgotten how much value there is in in-person socializing, and honestly, it's kind of beautiful. It's a blessing and a curse that we can, I hope, realize that, especially as Zoomers are addicted to our phones all the time.
What's weird though too is like I have two of my close friends live out in Colorado. That's originally where I'm from. I grew up there and then moved out here to Florida. And what's interesting is I FaceTime them and like video chat them, but more often than not, I also call them on the phone. Like I actually use my phone like as an actual phone, and it's weird because you would think that like video chat would be
The bridge.
the bridge, but like in a way, like just being able to put the phone to my ear, or heck, even to connect my AirPods, when I'm outside during a stroll and just talk to them or whatever. Like to me, that feels more intimate in a way, being able to talk to them on the phone as opposed to being on FaceTime or Zoom or Skype or what have you. So
I'm the same way. I prefer the phone to the video chat. And I've been managing companies and startups and doing all this stuff for years, and I've had to go through learning all of this. So it's fun to kind of hear from both of your perspective coming into it, now, because ultimately, yeah, the phone is a really effective tool and there's something weird about video chat. There's both a latency issue and also a psychological issue.
Yeah.
Seeing your own image reflected back, that kind of screws with your head. It's like, you're basically kind of staring at a mirror, but it isn't a mirror, but it's a mirror. And then you're also trying to focus on them, but then you're seeing yourself. And then when you have like 10 people you're trying to do this with and like a Zoom call, and the amount of brain power that's required both visually and to be able to do that, you're consumed. You can't do anything else. Like try having a video and take notes at the same time, and try to respond to an email, and you can't do that when you're on the. I can take my dog for a walk, check in on friends and family. While I'm taking my dog for a walk and I'm actually doing things, you can drive a car and talk to people at the same time. On a hands-free, you can have a conversation and kind of be partially in it, but also still reply to that email you got to get out. Like you can still kind of multi-function and multi when you're on a phone call, and you just can't do that. And the fact of the matter is, like right now, if I was on video, like, do you guys really want to see me pacing around my apartment right now? Like, I haven't shaved in 3 weeks, and like I probably need a fresh shirt. Like, no, like the audio here, it's like you have your own image, although I just painted one in your minds, but you don't necessarily need that data. You can still have like human connection by talking on the phone. vice versa, there's other situations where like all you need is a text chat. You don't actually need emails. You don't need Zoom calls. Like sometimes you just need to be able to ask them a question and they reply to it an hour later. And like, I mean, we're recording this on Discord. That's what Discord does. That's what Slack does. That's what all these companies do, is provide the ability to be able to communicate with text and kind of switch between these different mediums. So you kind of have to figure out like, okay, is this a moment where I need to have a phone call with someone? Is this a moment where a video, or is this a texting situation? And this applies to school. This applies to personal relationships as well. For parents and that kind of thing as well. Like, you kind of have to figure, okay, is this, which one of these mediums do I need to use to be able to communicate effectively? What's going to work for them and be the most effective, without having to necessarily go all the way to the video call and consume 100% of, their visual, input and, input like that. There's psychology to each of these things. You have to use the right tool, and that's just something that we all kind of need to learn over time how to do.
Breaking news right now, actually, the 5th precinct in Minneapolis getting evacuated, and a gas station has exploded there now. It's going really insane. Arby's is on fire too, and Twitter's losing their mind over Trump's tweet, like literally trending with 54,000 tweets as the shooting starts. Apparently CNN's really losing their shit. Holy shit.
You got to, like, they're letting this shit, like these Dems are letting this shit happen. Like they're just standing by and they're going to let this shit happen. And it's like at some point, why are these people continuing to put these Democrats in charge, knowing that they don't give a shit? And really, let's pull the fucking veil off. They don't give a shit about you, okay? They don't give a shit about you. This is one of those things. It's like, yeah, the choices aren't very. It's like, look, if I have to choose between Republicans, where I know that they don't have my back per se, but at least they're gonna set up something for me to, get a job or to be able to take care of myself, or the Democrats who are like plushy and go, hey, we're gonna take care of you, and then once they get in, they do the polar fucking opposite. It's like, and like, why would I choose the Democrats? Like, they've been choosing these Democrats for fucking decades, and they haven't done shit. They haven't done shit for these fucking people. So why are you continuously giving these Democrats your fucking?
Does it get free shit?
But it's like, yeah, then it's like, okay, so we're gonna give you just enough free shit to keep you poor, but not enough to really
bread and circuses.
Let up.
Yeah. I mean, if you that's the other thing. We don't have the things that they've used to manage our anger action for the system, and all these things that they were designed. It's bread and circuses. It's designed to distract us. The people are hungry right now. They don't have food. They don't have jobs.
Yeah.
There's nothing. Can't go. Can't even watch a basketball game, or we should have had the hockey playoffs right now. Like, we should be in the middle of baseball season. Like,
fucking training camp. Look, our Niners got to fucking kick up the football season here in a little bit. Holy shit, man.
I mean, this is man, I just turned on the TV and I'm seeing some of the live footage. I mean, they are burning the city to the ground.
Yeah.
This is insane. And there's it seems like there's been protests all over the country and other cities. Minneapolis is getting it the worst.
Oh yeah.
So someone said in my escape from Minnesota right now.
Lucky.
And I mean, honestly, that's what it feels like. Someone said earlier, we need Snake Plissken to come in. The thing with it is, I don't even think Snake Plissken would want to deal with this shit right now. So
the other thing,
there's a reason I keep my go bag by the door, and I have a 4x4.
Well,
I
did
think
you?
it's time for Return of the Roof Koreans.
Yes.